Let us discuss the topic consistency of premises and proof by contradiction. This proof by contradiction is also called indirect method. Anyhow, in this video, we will discuss what is the meaning of consistency of premises. Okay, so let us see what is first of all what is inconsistent premises. Okay, so as per the definition, so we say the set of formulas H1, H2, so on, Hm are inconsistent if their conjunction implies a contradiction. That is, H1 and H2 and so on, Hm, if they implies a contradiction statement, any contradiction statement of the form R and negation of R, where R is any formula. So here formula means what? Basically, it is a well-formed formula. So please recollect, proportional function and well-formed formula, they are the same. Okay, so now when I say the given set of premises are inconsistent, so I say the given set of premises are inconsistent if I can derive any one contradiction statement from the given premises. Okay, now let us take an example. Yeah, here I have given a set of English statements, right? So let us see a statement. Statement one is, if Jock misses many classes through illness, then he fails high school. So this is statement one. And statement two is, if Jock fails high school, then he is uneducated. And statement three is, if Jock reads a lot of books, then he is not uneducated. Okay. Then the fourth statement that is given to us is, Jock misses many classes through illness and reads a lot of books. Now we need to show that these statements are inconsistent statements. Okay, like let's say some person on the stage, they give statements. Okay, one day they give one statement, another day they give another statement. And what analysts what they will do is they see any inconsistency in their statements, they look into it. Similarly here also, if you see all these statements, are they inconsistent? So that we want to see. So what do you mean by proving they are inconsistent? So we need to derive at least one contradiction statement. What do you mean by contradiction statement? Contradiction means a statement which is always false, right? Contradiction is which is always false. Yeah. Now the procedure is, of course, in the English statements, first we convert into proportional functions, right? So of course, how I convert into proportional functions? By properly assuming the proportions, or by properly introducing the proportions. Now here, Jock misses many classes through illness. That I assumed as A, and Jock fails high school. I assumed as B. Since it is if then, so we know that if then means implication. So therefore, the first premise is nothing but A implies B with that assumption, right? Yeah. Next one is, if Jock fails high school, then he is uneducated. So here already I assumed Jock fails high school as B. So therefore, I have taken B as it is. Then he is uneducated. Jock is uneducated. I'm taking as C. So in that case, the second premise becomes B implies C. Okay, now let us see the third one. Jock reads lot of books. It's a new premise. It's a new proposition. So therefore, I have taken a new variability. Then he is not uneducated. So he is uneducated. Already we assumed as C here, right? So therefore, he is not uneducated. Definitely, it will be negation of C. So therefore, thus the third premise becomes D implies a negation of C. Then what is the fourth one? Jock misses many classes through illness, and see it is, and it's not even then, and reads lot of books. So Jock misses many classes through illness, that we already assumed as A. Please see the first statement. So therefore it is A. Since the connective is and, we have taken and here. Then Jock reads lot of books. So Jock reads lot of books, we already considered as D. So therefore I have taken D. So this is step one. So step one, if the English statements are given, if you want to prove that they are inconsistent, your step one is you convert that English statements to proportional function by properly introducing the proportions. Okay, that is step one. Now, so let's recollect how to prove that they are inconsistent means. So using all these premises, you derive any one contradiction statement. which is of the form R and negation of R. So R could be any formula. It could be a simple variable. R may be A. Then in that case you derive A and negation of A. So R could be B. Then you should derive B and negation of B. R may be P implies Q. In that case you derive P implies Q and a negation of P implies Q. Okay. So the idea is very simple. You must derive a contradiction statement. Okay. So here, if you observe carefully, there is no target. Okay. Earlier direct method, at least we have some target. Now there is no target, but our target is you have to derive any one contradiction statement. Okay. Now there are many possible solutions for this. So I am showing in this video two possible solutions. Yeah. No. Yeah. Let us see quickly here. Yeah. So all these premises once again I have taken on the left side. Now, so I'm just taking step one. You take premise 1 and premise 2, A implies B and B implies C. So naturally law of transitive. So therefore I can argue A implies C. I'm calling this as a conclusion part. In the step 2, I have taken A implies C, which is conclusion 1. Just now we got it. Then I'm taking this P3. So D implies a negation of C. And of course, this D implies negation of C is logically equivalent to what? It logically equivalent to C implies negation of D. Please make a note. Implication P implies Q is logically equivalent to what? P implies Q is logically equivalent to negation of Q implies negation of Q. So with that formula, so these two are same. Therefore, I have taken C implies a negation of D. Then again, law of transitive, we can argue A implies negation of P, right? So P implies Q, Q implies R, therefore P implies R. That is law of transitive. Fine. Then, now observe carefully, this is a tricky one. A implies negation of D, I got the conclusion. So this is logically equivalent to negation of R, negation of A, R, negation of D. Why? We know that P implies Q is logically equivalent to what? P implies Q is logically equivalent to negation of P R Q. So we already discussed this formula. So as per this formula, A implies negation of D can be written as negation of A or negation of D. Okay. Now see, it's a tricky one. The internal negation of A or negation of D is taken as it is. And before that, I have taken two negations, negation 1 and negation 2. So we know that negation of negation, so they both will be cancelled. Negation of negation, P is P, law of double negation. So here purposely I have applied negation 2 times. Then I expanded this part. Observe carefully. I expanded this part. So negation of A or negation of D. So by De Morgan's, finally this part will be equal to what? This part will be equal to A and D. Anyhow, this negation is there. So therefore, finally this is equal to negation of A and D. The idea is very simple. Already I have A and D. So if I can derive negation of A and D, then obviously I can apply law of conjunction. Then I can argue there is a conjunction statement. So now in the next step, what I did, so already I have premise for A and D, and just now I have derived negation of A and D. By law of conjunction, I can derive A and D and negation of A and D. So to prove that the given premises are inconsistent, we should always derive a formula of the form R and negation of R. So in this case, what is R? So in this case, the R is A and D. The R is A and D. So therefore, if we derive any conjunction statement, so obviously we say that they are inconsistent. So I already told you there are many alternative solutions. So let me quickly show you another alternative solution. So don't think that this alone is the answer. So there will be many possible answers. I'm showing an alternative answer. Yeah. So I have taken all the premises as it is. We are discussing another solution. Of course, there are many possible solutions. So in the step 1, what I did is I have taken A and D, which is premise 4. As law of simplification, I can argue A, and of course A and D. Even I can argue D also, law of simplification. Okay. Then I have taken A, which I received here, C1, and the B1 A implies B. By law of modus ponens, I can argue B is a valid one. Then the next step, B, just now I received, then B implies C, which is premise 2. Therefore, I can argue C is the valid. Okay. And of course, that is again law of modus ponens. And in the next step, so I have C, just now we derived C. Now that is C4 and P3, that is D implies negation of C. Again, modus ponens, sorry, modus tollens in this case. Okay, this modus tollens, so therefore I can argue negation of D. So I have D earlier in the C2. Now it is negation of D. Sorry, this is a negation of D. So therefore I can argue. D in negation of D. So this is alternate. That means I just want you to realize that there are many possible solutions, but our target is you derive any one contradiction statement. Okay, so this is how we prove that given set of premises are inconsistent. So you apply all inference rules on the given premises and finally derive any one contradiction statement. Okay, so this is the final conclusion. Thank you.